Well, welcome back to This Show is a JK, back from, one person's vacation.
Yeah, one of us didn't get a vacation.
One of us did not get a vacation, but one of us did, and we are back and better than ever on the Tuesday audio-only Super Show. My name is Jason Tudor, and that is...
Keith Pennell.
He said his own name this week, and that's a whole leap forward.
And I was ready for it.
He's got a brand new mic and everything. He is very shiny and new. For this week's Tuesday show. We are recording on July 21st, so we do have a lot to talk about today. Thanks to Keith for doing some nice fill-in shows. I hope you caught those. Those were pretty cool, as he was able to do those on video and do a few things. He did his little Ferris Bueller impression for the first one. I thought that was cool.
I was going to do the second one, since you showed a lot of pictures on the beach and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was going to show me topless out at a location and then show that it was my backyard.
Topless, we already have a problem. That's not good. Topless, but anyway,
a sexy man.
It's a sexy man. It's a mad man. Anyway, we're gonna forego the sponsors this week, and we'll reset that on Saturday. Figure that out. In any case, it's just frozen. Okay. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Just ignore the screen. In any case, welcome, and we're glad to be back. We've been out for a week? A little
over a week.
But we've been in your brain, so that's not too bad. But this is the first official hour that we are back. And but we will start you out by saying we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe on iTunes or stream us on Spotify and do those kinds of things so we can get our numbers up, so we can get the algorithms moving in the right direction, so that we can, in fact, grow like flowers in the wind, or
like the weeds in my backyard.
Some sort of analogy like that. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? You looked like you were enjoying the hell out of your vacation.
Looks are deceiving.
Okay.
No, it was a great vacation. I'll caveat that when we talk about it more in depth. But it was a great vacation. It was painful. I discovered that my bed at home is the best bed ever. And that if you wear bad shoes, it's going to fuck up your life.
Okay, so bad hotel beds. Were the hotels okay, though?
Hotels were fantastic. Everywhere we stayed was fine. The problem with hotel beds, as you may or may not know, is generally they're made of plywood.
They're basically
just
Europe,
pieces of plywood with cloth on the top of them, and my body is not made for that anymore. So pretty uncomfortable in a few spots, but in others it was fine. But then what I realized is I had these pair of shoes, and I thought, summer shoes, I'll bring those along. They're these kind of Birkenstocky, leathery flip flop. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I brought them along, and I will be hip and cool. Oh my God. They murdered my hip and my leg and everything else. Hipping. I was in pain for like 2 full days. I was in a lot of pain.
You were hip in pain.
Was that a joke?
It was intended to, yes.
Were you trying to do like a hip to be square thing? It didn't.
No. You said you're hip and whatever.
It was
hip and cool.
It sucked. I tried not to be a downer, but it was tough for a couple days. And then I finally figured out, it's the stupid shoes. And once I got rid of the shoes, they did help. But, again, sleeping on a bad bed. So I got to be more careful in the future. But other than that, it was a fantastic vacation. It was amazing.
Looked like it.
Yeah.
Are you prepared? Do you want to say some of the places you went?
Let's do it. Yeah. So we started out in, of course, Germany. And our first stop was Switzerland. So we stopped in Basel, Switzerland. And we had lunch. So we wanted to have lunch there. And then we were going to Geneva.
I feel like you should be relating the story with your pinky at the corner of your mouth.
It's kind of starts that way, doesn't it?
Switzerland.
Oh, my Lamborghini pulled up. And I'll get to that in a minute, too. But so after that, we went to Montrose, where the jazz festival usually is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's beautiful. We'd been there before. Actually, when we first got here,
mentioned smoking on the water
and fire in the sky. That's right. I told that to Dee Dee. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Look it up." She looks it up. She's like, "Oh wow, I didn't realize." Yeah, Ian Gillian, I think, wrote the lyrics as he watched the hotel burn.
Yes.
And I think Frank Zappa was on stage at the time, or something like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just full of useless knowledge.
So much useless knowledge. So we got to Montrose, and we've been there before because MWR offers this trip on something called the Chocolate Train. Make of that what you want, but it actually takes you as a train that takes you into these places where you go eat chocolate. And
did you hear my filter kick in?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I heard it. Believe it was like a friggin' guillotine trap door. Are you kidding? And you can go see the H.R. Giger Museum, who's, if you don't know, Giger basically created the whole look for the film Alien, and he's kind of this horror artist, and it's not for kids. And Annabelle was like, what? And for some of the stuff, we were like, what? But it was cool. Anyway, so Montrose was the stop where they sort of drop you off, and then something comes and picks you up and moves you on to the next spot. So we'd been there before, but we hadn't been there to see Montrose, right? So it's this beautiful, it's right on the lake, it's beautiful, it's as hoity-toity as you think. Beautiful hotels, very luxurious, and Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys. You couldn't swing a dead cat and not hit one. I mean, that was the start of it too. That was just the start of it. It was awesome. So right across from the sort of the hotel in the center of town, the Montrose Hotel, there's this little park, and they have all these statues. So the reason why we stopped is because we wanted to go see a specific statue that was a little farther down. I'll get to that in a minute. But in this park, they had statues of Aretha Franklin, and my wife is the single biggest Aretha Franklin fan on earth. So she about shit an egg roll when she saw Aretha Franklin statue. So I got 100 photos of that. And then there were various other sort of jazz musicians, and then there was a classical composer. Now I'm just totally zoning on who it was. Anyway, he's also there. Somebody will tell us in the comments, I'm sure. So we did that. We ate a little food, and then we walked down the edge of the shoreline to see the Freddie Mercury statue, which I will post on the show page. So that's when we were looking. We knew there was a Louis Armstrong statue there. That was one of the statues that was in that park. But when we were looking for a reason to sort of actually go to Montrose, it was the Freddie Mercury statue. That was totally the reason to be there. So we went to it. It's large. It's really cool. It's right on the lake. Lots of people standing in line to do it. Weather was fantastic the whole time. It was great.
He's got his arm extended in the air.
Of course.
With a jacket on and tank. Is that the one?
That's the stereotypical, Freddie pose for sure. So, so then we went to Lake Geneva, and we stayed. I'm trying to remember where we stayed overnight. Anyway, we stayed in Geneva, had dinner, did all sorts of little Geneva things, and then woke up in the morning and we were going to go to CERN. Now, if you're not familiar with CERN, CERN is where the atomic collider is located. Like, they do all these crazy experiments. It was thought that they were going to do an experiment that was basically going to open a black hole on Earth.
I remember that.
And they were, like, begged to not do the experiment. So we were both geeking out. We wanted to see it. There's a little museum. It's shaped like
Let's just add that to 2020, though.
No shit, right?
Do it right now. Let's start over.
All right, who had black hole for July? Right. So we went in the morning. We figured we'd go we were supposed to go that day, but we sort of piled on the Freddie Mercury thing and something else, which is slipping my mind. And we said, we're not going to be able to do it. So we got up the next morning. We said, all right, we'll catch it right when it opens. Well, it's closed. We didn't know it was closed. And they're not doing tours, but there's like a museum. It's shaped like a ball, and it's made of wood, and you can go see that.
Closed?
It's COVID closed. Yeah, they're not doing it. Everything's COVID closed. Yeah. So we were like, okay, but CERN is right on the border with France. So in order to turn around so that we could go to Italy, I had to go into France, and actually I had to do it twice because of some reason. But we went into France, turned around, and then we had to turn around and go back to France again. I think that's what it was. We went and got gas because we saw a cheaper gas station on the France side. That's how it works. And then you drive back, and then you're on your way to Italy. So then from Geneva, we went from there to Turin, where the Shroud of Turin is.
Yes.
The Shroud of, who I'm calling the Shroud of Allen, because it's pretty much been disproven that that's a hoax by 3 or 4 different scientists. But you can't see the shroud either. It's hidden away. They only bring it out at select times, and it's definitely not on display now. But we got to Turin. We weren't really thrilled with it, at least the way that we came into the city. So we found a restaurant that Dee Dee found online, and it was amazing. Amazing Italian food, basically by a little Italian family who, like, you're in their house, and they're cooking you food, and it was brilliant. He was the best host in the world. Cool. And it was very cool. So then we drove down to Savona, Italy, which is right on the shore, and we went there. We went to the beach, and then from there, we drove from there over to Monaco. So Monaco was our overnight. Now, to get into Monaco is a lot like getting into a rat's maze. It's like when you ever see those things in the grocery stores, or in the malls, rather, that the telethon Jerry Lewis had. They were like big yellow funnels, and you drop a coin, and the coin would go round and round and round and round and round. And
I haven't thought about those in a long time. Yeah.
That's how you get into Monaco. Except for the round part. You're just doing it on one side. So you're kind of going, it's just switchbacks all the way down. But all the way down, you're looking at Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley. I did not know Lamborghini made an SUV. It does.
I did. I think I saw it when I was looking up stuff for the.
They also make
car brand.
They make farm stuff too, but I
Yes.
knew that. That's how they got started. I did not know Ferrari made a coupe.
Yep.
I was like, hey, Ferrari makes a coupe. And then every other conceivable kind of sports car. It's just, Monaco plates are little tiny things no bigger than an iPhone. So you get all the way to the bottom, and we stayed at a hotel that's kind of, so there's essentially when you get into the Principality, there's like 4 tiers. We were on kind of the 3rd tier where our hotel was. And so we stayed there. We went, that evening, we went into right next to the Monaco Casino where all the James Bond shit is and all that. There was a little restaurant just off to the side. It wasn't very crowded at all, but the casino is cool. It's all you think it is. It's all this sort of, you want to like have a tuxedo on and be pulling on your cuffs to adjust them and all that shit. So we ate dinner. We watched sort of people watch, and you're people watching, and everybody is just. If you've ever used the word well-heeled or the term well-heeled or that any sort of vernacular like that, that's the place to use it. The 4 men sitting next to us were all dressed in like Armani shirts, Armani jeans. They all just look like they stepped off the boat. Even they probably did. You could just tell. I mean, cool dudes, a lot of money, just enjoying the evening. Couple next to us, the whole thing. But then you look out onto the quad, you could see parked in front of the casino was Lamborghini, Ferrari, and then there was a Hyundai. I was trying to figure that one out. Right. And then, so I'm guessing whatever rich family rented the Hyundai, they parked it there. And then but coming out of the casino in the back was Porsche, Ferrari. So it was a sports car, foreign domestic sports car lovers bukkake, because it was just the best of all worlds. The one thing we discovered, I wanted to get this in early, was it's surprising how many Ford Mustangs there are in Europe. I didn't realize this.
People love the Mustang.
And there were a ton of Carroll Shelby Mustangs, and I think I saw 3 Cobra Mustangs, and I was like, where are the Mustangs? Where are they buying them? So I guess they sell Ford in France.
So I need to go to Monaco to get a sugar mama.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. For sure. So we ate, we went into the casino. The casino is much smaller than I thought. It's almost like going into the haunted house at Disneyland. It's small. You go in and you have to be dressed a certain way. You can't be under 18. The first thing they do is take our temperature. You walk in, you pay a €17, so $20 cover charge basically, and then you're in. So when we went in, there were very few games being played. Roulette. There was a blackjack game, and that was about it. Roulette and blackjack. They weren't playing craps, I think, because of the dice issue. And there just weren't that many people on the floor. So you get in, the main floor there's tables and a bar, so you go to the bar, they actually give you a coupon, so the drinks don't cost you $1 million. I tried Jack Daniels again. I still hate it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible. I for some reason I thought,
surprised you didn't get
I bet I will like Jack Daniels tonight. It is going to be, I hated it.
I'm surprised you did not get a
martini shaken, not stirred.
Thought about it, but I wasn't sure how that would go down just overall.
I keep looking at the TV like I'm playing to a crowd.
Sorry.
I know, no.
You're sitting right next to me.
I keep looking at it to make sure that our audio is still good. So, we got our drinks. She got, I forget what she got, but she didn't like that either. It was something made with champagne. What's it called? Not a mimosa. What's the other one called?
That's all I got.
Somebody will correct us. Anyway, so then we went into, and she wanted to play slots. So we went and played slots, and we did that for a while, and it took us for every penny that we put into the machine. And then we went back out, and then the tables were still open, and then I was kind of like, maybe we should go see where the high rollers play. That'd be cool. But we didn't. It wasn't the right vibe. But there were very few people. It was a Wednesday, I think. Yeah, it was a Wednesday. So there weren't going to be a lot of people in there. Back to our room, fell asleep. Got up next morning, drove to what comes after Monaco. Is it Cannes? No, we drove to Nice. Nice is a huge city. I didn't realize how big it was. Right on the water, beautiful. It's sort of the way that the French coastline is set up. It's very sort of almost Norwegian in the way that it's sort of peninsulas and crags sort of jut out, and all of these towns and villages are sort of set into them. Nice is one of those that's sort of set over a number of these big city. Again, you have to get down into it. Dee Dee wanted to go out on something called the Promenade, so we did that. Promenade is this big, long strip. Nobody was on it. But it's right next to the beach where there are, of course, chairs you can reserve and some
Right.
public beach and so on. So we had lunch there. Again, not a big deal. We were sort of like, how much do you think it costs to get a room at that hotel? It was surprisingly cheap. There's a Radisson Blu right on the water. That's where we had lunch. And I thought it was going to be like $900 a night. It's like $150, $200 a night. That's reasonable for Nice.
Normal hotel rates.
Right. So it was crazy, but it was good. Crazy in that it was affordable. Finished up at Nice, and this is where our challenge started. So we wanted to go to Cannes, because that's where the film festival is, and it turns out that's really where the sort of amusement park feel is, because Nice was very quiet, on the promenade anyway. Cannes everything was happening, and it was crazy. It was just people all over the place, walking. Again, luxury shops, more sports cars, la la la. On and on and on. And we had to get out of Cannes and then get to the next place we were going to go, which was this campsite that we rented, which I'll get to that in a second. And Cannes is, again, it's just bustling. The theater where they do the awards, everybody was standing on the red carpet, which was obviously what we wanted to do. We wanted to get that photo, and then we wanted to get a little bite to eat, and then we wanted to move on. Well, that was all well and good until you actually have to sit in that fucking traffic. It was the worst traffic I've ever sat in my life. Now, I've been in traffic jams in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, Washington, D.C.,
New York City.
Almost Houston, Dallas to a degree, not so bad in Dallas, Denver, you name it, I've probably been in your metropolitan traffic. Paris, that was the worst traffic I was ever in.
Wow.
It was not stop and go. It was like stop and go in reverse. It was horrible. It took us to go, I think I calculated 2.5 miles to get to the next step so we could go on. It took us 3.5 hours to go 2.5 hours, 2.5 miles. I'm not shitting you 1 inch. That's how long it took. And we were both frustrated, and that's when I was really starting to feel it in my bones and everything with both the stupid shoes and everything else. So it was a combination of things. Anyway, the next place we went to is...
Did you get your pictures on the red carpet and all that?
Oh, yeah. No. We took care of everything, but it was just when we got into traffic, we thought, we'll just get out of here. And
okay.
And we thought there was like a side street you can go up and catch the highway. Nope, you had to follow this one road, and it took I think it was 176 minutes or something like that.
Wow.
It was crazy. Cars tell you how much time you've been in. You're listening to the show as a JK with your pals Jason and Keith. I am recounting my vacation along the French Riviera, Côte d'Azur, with my pal here, going through all the nicks and knacks of what happened while we were away. And so we are on the part where we get to the campsite. The campsite is now I'm going to forget the name of the place where it was. Oh, it's in Saint-Tropez. It's actually just outside of Saint-Tropez. So Saint-Tropez I thought was much bigger. I always thought it was like this big, like a big beach community like Panama City or Los Angeles to a degree. It's small. It's rather tiny. It's a small alcove, giant yachts, the whole thing. Anyway, just before that, in a place called Grimaud or Port Grimaud, there is a giant, for lack of a better word, mobile home park. But they rent these mobile homes out to people to use them to camp. So we rented one of these things, and it was the best experience we've had in a very long time as far as just chilling, relaxing. They have restaurants, they have the beaches within walking distance, they have a giant swimming pool, they have all these different things. Shower, the whole thing. I mean, the cabin itself has showers and beds and all that.
So it's like a KOA.
Right.
Camp.
You'd have loved it.
Would I?
You'd loved it, especially since everything I've talked about since Savona is nude beach, nude beach, nude beach, nude beach, nude beach. So he's writing that down. So anyway,
What's that number?
what's that number for the campsite again? So the campsite is great. So we got up the next morning. We went to the beach, and we were kind of chilling on the beach, and we saw some people getting on wave runners, and we're like, oh. Dee Dee's like, I've never done that. I'm like,
I love wave running.
I said, I haven't done it in a long time, but I'd like to do it. She's like, let's do it. All right. So she signs us up, wait a couple hours, go out. Get on the wave runner. Now, the thing about the wave runner is you don't need a license. You don't need lessons. Basically, you go through like a 10-minute brief that says you're going to ride in a triangle formation, don't touch the accelerator until we're past the last buoy, and that's it. That's what they tell you. Now, I was concerned because there was a pretty good chop on the water. Like, it was like, whap, whap. And I'm like, is it normally this? He's like, no, it is not like this. I said, oh, shit. So, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was one of those things like, this is going to cause a challenge, I think, right?
That's got to be good for your back.
Yeah, right. So the Wave Runner's huge, but it's fine. I get on okay and start it up, and we float out, and then at the buoy, off goes Jean-Pierre, whatever.
Rigs or all together?
There's like 6 of us. So there's me and Didi are one, and then there's 2 dudes on one. There's like 4 total jet skis plus the leader. I'll just call him Jean-Claude.
AB didn't want to go?
AB did not want to do this.
Okay.
No. So that was Keith's new iWatch that just dinged. It's very exciting. What does it say?
It's my mom.
How's Mom? He's reading.
She had a really good... Remember, my mom had a heart issue.
Yes.
Several weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right, she's doing well.
Good. All right, so that's the summary of that. So the buoys come. Jean-Claude is gone. Now, I've never operated a wave runner on this kind of chop. It's usually the chop is much more smooth. Also, I forgot that, really in order to make the wave runner turn, you have to sort of lean with it. And then the last thing that they teach you in the briefing is, if you feel like you're going to tip over, accelerate. That goes counter to my brain when I'm actually trying to get the thing in line. So anyway, we zoom off. Whoosh. I'm trying to get it going, but Didi is like, wah, because we're hitting these waves and we're like, whoom, whop, whoom.
Oh, wow.
Whoom. Like 2 or 3 feet in the air. And I love it, but she's clutching back me tighter and tighter. So I don't want to. So I'm kind of doing this and then slowing, doing this and then slowing. Well, about midway, I whoom, and I slow, and I go to hit the accelerator again, and the jet ski sort of wedges to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right, and then it just starts tilting, and I'm like, we're going in. Boom, we both fell in. You have an automatic kill switch as you tap to your arm, so
right.
It stops, fortunately. So we're in the middle of Saint-Tropez Bay, Gulf of Saint-Tropez, I should say, and the first thing I think when I get out of the water, I'm trying to adjust for the water, because, again, it's pretty choppy, and I'm trying to not swallow a ton of salt water, which I end up doing anyway. Anyway, I get above, and I'm thinking to myself, please don't let the jet ski float too far away. Please, because I'm already in pain from my hip and all the other things. But obviously, the adrenaline's going, so I don't even notice any of that. I'm just like, fuck, I got to get to the jet ski. So it's not far. It's right there. But then I forget that you have to get on the back of the jets or the wave runner in order to... But I'm trying to get it on the side. Anyway, Jean-Claude finally figures out that we've bailed, comes back. He's like, hey, stupid, get on the back of the jet ski. And I'm like, right. Because I had already started to kind of cling to the side. So I did, got on, no problem. Didi gets back on. But then I realized, lost my prescription sunglasses.
Son of a bitch.
And I don't know if they came off like when we went in or if whatever, they were gone. Anyway, we kept going out, which was even weirder because he went way out. I mean, almost to, so Saint-Tropez is on this peninsula, this kind of curved hook peninsula, and it's kind of on the end of the hook. We went all the way out there, then we came back. And then right before we stopped the thing, we flipped it over. Like literally right before we got off the thing, we flipped it over again, and we both got out of the water. We're like, "Yeah, baby, look at us!"
Now, were you wearing bathing suits or just shorts and your multicolored
bathing suits and life vests? Thank God for the life vests, because that was pretty awesome. But yeah, it was all fine. It was all fine. I'm sure we would have done fine, or we would have been fine, but. So that was the jet ski adventure. Almost did the parachute drag me up in the air adventure, but
parasail, yeah.
Well, it wasn't time. But food was great. Camping was great. Weather was could not have been more perfect. Finished that. Moved on the next day to So that's when we were coming back home. So we were supposed to go up all the way up north to Burgundy, or to the Burgundy region, to I can't even remember that, Simons-en-Anjou or something like that. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's a wine town. We were supposed to go all the way up there and do that, but we started looking at the times, because when we got done at the campsite, we went to Avignon. And if you've never been to Avignon, there's a famous Rafi song. If your kids had kids, you know Rafi. On the bridge of Avignon, they are dancing, they are dancing. So we wanted to see that. She wanted to see lavender, because that's where the largest lavender fields are, is right there near Avignon. So we went to Avignon. We took the train tour where they said specifically, no one has danced on the bridge of Avignon. And we were like, oh, that's disappointing. Rafi wrote a bad song. But so we took the tour. We did that. Got a little bite to eat. And then we started to head out toward lavender. And what we realized was we're not going to make the other place. There's no way. We got there at like 1 a.m. So we just changed our plans and we ended up in where did we end up? Lyon? I'm trying to remember. What was it? No, we ended up in a place called Montelimar, but we stopped in Lyon. Lyon was on the way home. We stopped at a place called Montelimar, which is the nougat capital of the world. I had no idea. We ate dinner there. We stayed overnight, and then we came home. So in general, that was the vacation. So we went to France, Italy, Monaco. It was definitely sort of the French Riviera sampler platter, but it was still really good. The thing that we understood that we knew we wanted to do next time was to make sure we spent more time at the campground. Wow. That was a really good deal. All right, I've been talking for so what happened with you while I was gone?
Oh, let's see. A couple of things here. Main thing is on Sunday, I broke 100 again, and I actually had my first birdie in a long time on a par 5.
That's awesome.
I had a good tee shot. I had a great second shot, and it was number 16. You know 17, that par 3, right? Mm-hmm. 16 is just straight away, and then it kind of dips down into a little bowl area.
Right.
And so my second shot made it over the hill, and I was 4 feet off the green.
Wow.
And it was a front pin. I chipped it within 2 feet of the pin and put it in for birdie. I went to the doctor yesterday.
All right.
And this is the diabetes doctor, not the primary care doctor.
All right.
So what it turns out, they do the tests and all that beforehand. And the big one for those of you who are diabetic or nor diabetic, the one the doctors always look at is the test called the hemoglobin A1C.
Right.
For a normal person, it's generally in the 5s. 6 is a little bit high for a normal person.
Yeah.
Diabetics, they want it under 7. So before I left Lawton, Fort Sill, it was 7.8, which is pretty good for me.
Okay.
So I thought, here I am. It's been a year. I haven't been eating great. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
My A1C was actually 7.7.
All right.
So it's moving the right direction. Yes, 1/10 of a point, but screw you, you're not diabetic. So, so he's looking at the test results.
Take what you get, right?
That's right. So he's looking at the test results and he goes, "Has anybody ever told you you could be anemic?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, it's not bad, but your iron is a little bit low."
Right.
He said, "There's a lot of things that could cause that." He said, "What I recommend is I recommend you eat more meat and oh crap, what do you say? Eat more red meat and drink more beer."
That's not bad.
That's not a bad doctor's
decision. Best
decision,
prescription
man.
ever, it seems like.
Right?
Damn.
I said, okay.
Right.
So anyway, and I'm going to get started on getting ready to be put on an insulin pump, which I'm apprehensive yet excited about.
Pump up the jam. Is that the wrong song?
That's the wrong song.
Sorry.
Pump up the sugar.
Pump up the jam. Pump
Kick it over here, sugar pop. No, it's baby pop. Sorry. Anyway, okay. So I'm excited about that. That's what I did while you were away.
Man.
And tonight, we have a function tomorrow.
We do.
We have a change of command tomorrow, and so we're getting all gussied up for that. And so I was ironing before I came over here to Jason's house, and I was so into my ironing, and I can't be the only one that does this. I produce a rather large amount of saliva on a normal day.
What?
So I was bent over concentrating on my ironing tonight, and my nose is stopped up because of allergies. I'm sleeping with the windows open.
Allergies are killing all of us. Yeah.
So my mouth was open. I was mouth breathing for a little bit, and it wasn't just a drop. It wasn't just a boop. It was this big string of saliva. You try to slurp it back in because somebody's watching, right? Even though I live by myself, but no, it was on. It got on the pants, so I put the iron over it, and there was a little bit of steam. Just that's what I have to talk about. I don't have Saint Tropez and French KOA.
15 minutes of a boring vacation story, and you get that good drool story, folks. That's not a bad deal.
Hey, but a birdie in golf.
So we had some friends watch our cats while we were gone.
I'm kind of jealous.
We have
actually
3 asshole cats, and for some reason we're still feeding them. But we asked someone to watch them while we were gone so they can continue to be fed. And what we discovered was that 2 of them hid in the attic, and only one of them was around who was kind of like, hey, you going to feed me or what? And then when we got home, they have not left Dee Dee's side since. So they're such assholes. Anyway.
What makes them an asshole? Because they don't do that to you?
No, because they're here with us, generally just existing and breathing. That's the big thing. All right, so let's a couple of noteworthy things before we sort of get into the rest of the conversation. Today would have been Robin Williams' 69th birthday.
Oh, wow.
69th. I have to say the words correctly, Jason. It's John Lovett's birthday. It's Cat Stevens' birthday. And it would be Ernest Hemingway's whatever birthday.
I saw Robin Williams live. I had the honor of seeing Robin Williams live. He performed in 2002 at Incirlik Air Base, Turkey, in a hangar. The hangar doors were open. You could see the mountains, and there was lightning over the mountains, but not raining at Incirlik. I think this was February. And Robin Williams, if you don't know, did a lot with the USO.
Yeah, he did a ton.
And he would go downrange where things are getting shot and
right.
And and he did it. And he was Robin Williams the whole time. And I don't know, I guess I'm a connoisseur of comedy. We talked about that before. And
the guy I just saw before you came over was horrible.
Really?
He made the word. Anyway, go on. I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm interrupt your flow.
Robin Williams is my ultimate favorite comedian. He can ad-lib. He's just funny.
Yeah.
My second one. Well, we did talk about this once we did a bracket. Richard
awesome.
Pryor, and then believe it or not, Howie Mandel.
Yeah. Robin Williams was a pretty amazing entertainer and performer. Had an incredibly fast mind. Not that cocaine didn't help that for a little while, but. So those are the birthdays that we know. Shout out to our friend Matthew Davis. Apparently he was in a pretty bad cycling accident. My friend Lee tells me. I won't go any farther than that. We'll just say, Matt, please get well. We are thinking about you.
Absolutely.
And we got you here on the show. And also want to let you know that Keith has prepared the next bracket. It is up on Challenge, however the fuck you say that, challenge.com. This week's bracket is Best Condiment. Best Condiment. So everyone from Belgium will put mayonnaise. I will put mustard, I'm sure, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, go and make your prediction now for that. The T-shirts are on their way. But the winner will receive a free show T-shirt, courtesy of us. Best condiment, how many did you put in?
12.
That's a 12er again. All right, so we're doing 12 as usual. I never know when inspiration's going to hit. You might say 16, because you put relish and sweet relish, and you never know.
No.
You see the look he gave me. He was all mad about it and stuff. Anyway, go make your prediction on challenge, challonge.com. And click on the bracket that says Best Condiment, and then make your choices, and everyone will be happy and proud. So, in addition to the quiz topic tonight, which is
the moon landing,
the other event that happened around this time of year was what?
Is this part of the quiz? This time of year, well, not yet, but you were born.
Well, anyway, we'll get to that. It's actually part of the quiz, so I don't want to actually say the name. I'm sure everybody else out there is like, "Wah!" And I'm like, I am too, because it was the year I was born. But what is your favorite, if you were listening to the focus group rock and roll station that played the Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, Loverboy, that rotation of songs?
Woodstock.
What is your favorite classic song? When it comes on, you're like, I'll turn that up or I'll stop.
From that era.
Yeah, do you have a favorite classic rock song?
All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, that's a good one. We talked about that one before, yeah. So yes, it is the anniversary of that particular event, and we'll talk about that more in the quiz. And then the other thing that I had was, so we haven't talked about sports in a minute, but the thing that's bugging me now is, now that I've actually seen a few of these things go on, is there's nobody in stands. And I said this when I did my little video minutes, which I didn't necessarily do a very good job of, but because I was very tired and I was in a lot of pain. So a couple got deleted because I didn't think they were very good. But I did mention, and somebody commented on it, that I don't think that sports is very good without the people in the stands.
I agree, and I noticed something. I didn't watch much of it, but I watched some baseball a couple of days ago.
Right.
Maybe over the weekend. And they were literally piping in crowd noise.
They were, yeah,
And that's bullshit.
and it's a gimmick, and you're sort of sitting there going, well, I wonder if the owners are thinking about not having fans at all, or just turning it. I saw an MLS match while we were away. Actually, not MLS. I'm sorry. It was a British Premier League, English
Right.
Premier League game. Arsenal and Liverpool, and it was all just ads in the stands.
Yep.
They were piping in the usual chants, and you'll never walk alone, and all that stuff. And I was just like, this doesn't get it for me. I mean, to me, it looks like two teams are scrimmaging.
That's exactly what I
It looks like I came upon a practice. My beloved Dodgers tweeted out or put on Facebook a couple of photos. One is the sunset behind center field with the palm tree and the sign, which is iconic, which is now the front of my phone. But then the other was kind of a three-quarter down shot from right field of Dodger Stadium and the two teams playing. And I thought it was just an empty stadium. And I had to kind of zoom in and go, oh, that's the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers playing. I'm just not as interested.
No.
And that component matters because it makes you feel like you're part of a greater sum of the whole. So I was curious how you felt about that.
Well, like I said, I watched a little bit. I couldn't even tell you who it was, to be honest. No, it was Yankees and not Yankees. Hell, I can't remember. Anyway, they had crowd cheering like a normal, but I saw a home run.
Yeah.
And automatically the crowd erupts. So they've got that ready when there's a good play
Right.
or a home run.
Right.
They've got that hot button there ready to go.
Right.
I don't like it. I guess if you're a purist, like I have a lot of friends who are baseball purists, and hey, they're playing. Like I'm probably going to be with football if football happens. So I just don't like you said. It's like two teams scrimmaging. It's like preseason, if you will.
It just looks like a couple teams practicing. And I'm not a purist, but I mean, I'm a huge fan of the game. I'm not a purist because I don't mind change. Like if the National League decides to go to the DH, I'd be more than happy with that.
Right.
But I am someone who believes that certain components of whatever thing you're doing need to exist in order for it to be enjoyable as entertainment, right? And even baseball, when it puts its box score together, lists the attendance.
Right.
It matters. Having people who are interested in the sport matters. I think what Major League Baseball is going to discover through this is people aren't going to watch a game of baseball with an empty stands. I don't see it happening. And they could say, oh, they're watching it through electronic or whatever. I don't buy it. I've tried to sit through a couple of AFN broadcasts, and I'm like, I'm not going to. I mean, I love the Dodgers, but I'm not going to sit here and meander through this. It's not engaging my attention. I don't see the usual people behind home plate who I see for a Dodger game, like Larry King and Mary Hart and all of the other sort of people who I know are back there. And that's part of it is people want to be with people and see people and do things with people, and that's the whole thing. So
yeah, it's tough.
Whatever.
They're talking now about getting rid of the preseason for football.
Right.
And
No, I thought that was done already because they got rid of the Hall of Fame game. I thought they
not the whole preseason.
Oh, okay.
But they have decided to get rid of that now.
Mm-hmm.
While you were away, Russell Westbrook popped positive for COVID.
Oh, did he really?
Basketball, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But now apparently he's joined the bubble. The football players want to play. The NFL seems to be capitulating.
Everybody wants to play. And then everybody has a family, and then not everybody. Then people have families, and then people have, their own assessment on what they believe COVID is or isn't. Right? Mm-hmm. They have their own assessment on what they believe, how they can be harmed, and that's what it comes to. So yeah, at this point, it's these sort of contrivances of what sports is aren't getting it for me, and that's the bottom line.
What it all comes down to is sports isn't about the players.
Right.
Sports is about the people watching.
Right.
Whether it's in the stadium, whether it's at home, what have you. And,
right.
Of course, money.
It's a spectacle. Baseball was a spectacle, right? Yes. You win, and it's a bet. The Jim Rome is famous for saying horse racing is nothing but a bet, and then later on in his life went on to love horse racing and own horses.
Yeah.
And yeah. But sports is a bet, right? There's still a $12-13 billion under-the-table gambling business, which is probably the impetus for playing the games in the first place. Rather than we've got to give the fans a product. The fans only care that they can wager that the over-under on the Dodgers will be 1.5 or 2 or whatever, whatever the hell it is. Not to be callous, but I just think there is a component of that to it. Now that there's a legal gambling business with things like DraftKings and things like that, and the Vegas legal gambling system, the illegal gambling business that helped prop some of these larger sports up on their hind ends also has to thrive too.
Agreed. And basketball hasn't quite started yet, but they're practicing now.
I haven't figured that out yet. I know MLS is playing, but I also heard that more players are popping positive and
right.
Speaking of popping positive, did you hear about the couple who were pointing guns at the protesters? They've been charged with a third-degree felony in their state.
They've been charged, but then I read today that the Attorney General was going to throw out those charges.
Interesting. I don't doubt it. They're prominent people in their community. She sits on the ethics committee. You can't make a judgment from the photos you saw.
I can, because there was a huge mustard stain on her blouse.
So you can make a judgment that the best condiments bracket next week, she would be a big part of that.
Probably. She really, on whatever she was eating, there was mustard, yes.
You're listening to This Show is a JK. I'm Jason Tudor. That's Keith Pinnell. Thank you for listening. Once again, you can subscribe on iTunes. You can stream us in on Spotify and catch us in a number of places. We'd appreciate if you do. And we would love that you're listening, and thanks for playing along. We are very close to birthdays.
We are, both of us.
We are very close, and it's oddly enough the best number ever, which is the police code for an insane person in Los Angeles.
5150.
51, and he will be 50. So that's exciting. We both got birthdays coming up. So
one of us does not look our age,
and the other is sitting next to me. So 19 days before my birthday, a man landed on the moon.
Yes.
And so that was July 20th, 1969, which was 2 days after Woodstock ended. And by the way, you know what else happened on my birthday, but in a different year? Nixon resigned. That's like the only thing that happened on the day my birthday happened. The actual date of my birth in August 1969 is not. Anyway, we have the usual 9 quiz for Keith tonight. I gave him the topic, yesterday morning?
Yesterday morning.
So and there's a lot of moon landing data on the web.
I haven't had a chance to look much. I've been busy.
Whatever.
Or
He's
tired.
going to get at least half of these right.
I
Although some of them at the end are kind of tricky. But so if you're scoring at home, first, congratulations. But second, make sure you have your score sheet handy, because here come the questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So here comes the 9 quiz. No, the 9 quiz on the moon landing. What was the name of the mission that first landed on the moon?
Oh, God. Apollo 11?
Ding! That is correct. Apollo 11 is the name of the mission. All right.
Obviously, the movie Apollo 13, which was what the mission went wrong. I've actually done an interview.
Tom Hanks and Ron Howard.
Yes. I actually did an interview with the real-life astronaut Fred Hayes. So I was counting back from 13. Okay, go ahead.
Who are the 3 crew members of Apollo 11, and which one was Air Force? You only need their last names.
Armstrong's the only one I know. I'm not even going to attempt that. So that means I can't get the second part.
Okay, this is only worth 1 point anyway. Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins.
Yeah.
And Michael Collins was in the Air Force, and he went on to be a major general. All right. What were the names of the 2 modules that composed the Apollo 11? There were 2. One's actually mentioned in a very famous statement.
So not Soyuz.
No. And not Sputnik.
Not Sputnik. Damn it.
One is a famous university in New York, and one is the national symbol of our country.
Eagle.
1.
And famous university in New York.
Record company.
Capitol.
Motion picture company.
MGM.
Columbia, sir.
Columbia.
Eagle was
if
the
you
lunar...
said there have been several spacecraft named...
Houston, the Eagle has landed.
The Eagle has landed.
And then Columbia was the command module. So while Aldrin and Armstrong landed Eagle, and walked on the moon, Michael Collins was in the command module flying it around the moon, waiting for them to ascend and go back.
Is Buzz Aldrin? Buzz Aldrin's the one that has kind of got famous again as an older.
We're coming to that.
Sorry.
All right. How long did it take to get to the moon? You can do days or hours, and you could take a stab at either. So from the moment they lifted off until the moment they actually Eagle has landed, what do you got?
32 hours. I don't know what it...
No. 76 hours. So 3 days and 4 hours or whatever. So 76 hours.
I could have done it in half the time.
Right. And then the next question, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth question. What time did the lunar module land on the moon? What time of day?
It was morning.
It was not morning.
It was
you
evening.
non-studying dumbass.
I told you I've been busy. I was so excited.
It was afternoon. That should narrow it down. I mean, I guess this can be considered...
3:30.
That's close, actually. We need to talk about when evening is, by the way. It was 4:17 p.m. Now, the two sites that I researched the moon landing
Which
on
means
said...
it was almost 3:30 in the Central Time Zone.
Right.
So there you have it.
But I actually believe I said Eastern Time. But
I don't think you did.
Whatever. Either way, you're wrong. 4:17 is when they landed, and on a couple of sites I read, it said that 4:18 was the time that Neil Armstrong said his famous phrase, which was...
The Eagle has landed. Oh, you mean when he exited?
Yeah.
That's one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
Actually, I think that was later in the evening. That's my bad. Anyway. All right. You're never going to get this one, but just take a wag. How many pounds, kilograms of moon rock did they take home? Just take a wag. By the way, none of the moon rocks had oil in them, so just FYI. That was the disappointing part.
30 pounds.
Close, 50.
I was going to say...
Or for our European friends, about 23 kilograms. All right, this is a good one. I like this question. You're going to like it too, folks. What happened to the astronauts after they touched down in the Pacific Ocean on July 24th that is so relevant today?
After they touched down in the ocean.
Correct. They were brought aboard the USS Hornet, and then, something happened.
Their feet were outlined in paint. Is that where you're going with that?
It's not fucking Mans Grumman's Chinese Theater, no. Relevant today. There's a wasp in my house. I need to get that out of my house.
Yes, you do.
He'll get out.
Closer to me than it is to you. That's relevant today. I don't know.
They were quarantined, fool, for 2 weeks.
I think that still happens.
They were quarantined till 2 days after my birthday, until August 10th. All right. Buzz Aldrin did something to give thanks for landing safely on the moon. What was it? Here's a hint. Catholics will know it.
Made the sign of the cross?
Kind of.
Kissed the rosary?
You can go through all of the Catholic things. Eventually, you'll come to it.
That's really kind of the only two I know.
He's just gonna name them all.
Have a lot of guilt.
That's Jewish stuff too. Yeah. Okay, you're not gonna get
cross?
it. He took communion.
Okay.
So the bread and the wine, and the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay.
I'm sucking at this tonight.
I thought you would have at least hit the Wikipedia page or something, but I went to a couple of diverse pages to get this. But I thought you'd be doing better too. This is good. I like keeping you on your toes. This is good. All right. How many total U.S. missions have landed on the moon?
3?
6.
6. Again with the half.
But no other country has put people on the moon. So that's something.
And I read, or I know, and then read again, that there have been a lot of things that have been shot to the moon.
Right. China has put a probe on the moon. India, I think, has put a probe on the moon. A few things, but nobody's put another human body on the moon but us.
Have you seen Space Force yet?
Of course.
I don't want to say the ending, but the last episode where our people are on the moon.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That is funny. All right, last question, and then we'll do the bonus, which you sort of already answered, but we'll try it again. We'll see if you can say the actual name of the thing.
Probably not.
What did Buzz Aldrin do to Bart Sibrel when they met to discuss the moon landings?
Punched him?
Punched him is correct.
I didn't know the other guy's name, but I knew he got in trouble for.
Yeah, and Aldrin was not charged because Sibrel apparently provoked him. So they said,
He's the one that said that it was fake.
yeah,
Yeah.
and has for a very long time, and we spent $30 billion, blah, 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 blah. Conspiracy theorist. All right, here's the bonus question. What huge event occurred in Bethel, New York, just a few days before the moon landing?
Woodstock.
Correct. That is correct. Woodstock did not happen in Woodstock, New York.
That's correct.
Because it got out of control and ended up on Max Yasgur's farm. And it was actually called an Aquarian Exposition, 3 Days of Peace and Music, but it was alternately called the Woodstock Rock Festival. I did not keep score, but let me just try to sum these up. You got that one? One, no.
Jimi Hendrix playing
no,
the national anthem on his guitar.
No.
There's some yeses in there.
No. You got 2 right.
I think I got 4 right.
You got 2 right. You got the name of the mission. You blew the pilots or blew the crew.
I'm sorry.
You blew the crew.
Be careful how you say it.
Heyo. You did not get the modules correct. You did not know.
I got 1 module correct.
After I gave it to you, yeah.
You gave me a hint.
Yeah. The national bird and the school in New York. All right. You did not get the time correct. You did not get the number of pounds correct. You did not get quarantine. You did not take communion because you're not a Catholic person. That's
I'm
okay.
not.
And you did not get the number of missions correctly. But you got to punch them right, and I was happy about that. So that means you were 2 for...
And the bonus.
And the bonus, yes. So you get 2 for 10. 3 for 10. 3 for 10, which you answered the bonus early, so...
Which I should get another
Easy.
point for that.
Right, maybe.
For being able to read your mind.
So what else? We talked about the 2 people getting or the felony thing, which may or may not stick. Go outside.
Both of
boss.
us have mentioned in our separate videos,
Yeah.
but I thought you brought up a good point that I didn't know about you, that about Grant Imahara.
Right.
That was a stunner. When I saw that on Friday.
Right.
And I mean, we both are big fans of his, and you have a personal connection.
Yeah, something of a personal connection. My the guy I used to host the podcast with, Mike, Science Fiction Show, is deeply ingrained into the Star Wars community and among other communities. He's been there for a very long time, and he's met Grant Imahara a couple times, and that was why he got to asked Mr. Imahara to do the bumper for the opening of the show. We got a number of bumpers. I still have them somewhere. I'll play that bumper right here. So that was the bumper, and then he, it was just I think I used that bumper probably 6 or 7 times. It's just, hey, this is Grant Imahara, and you're listening to the Science Fiction Show.
Cool.
I just think that's very generous. It was like I had. A person, so we've talked about this, I think, in the early shows. I like to use I haven't used it in a while, but I like to do the flight sim, the DCS World Flight Sim. Mm-hmm. So I haven't done that in a while, but I designed this squadron patch thing for this Instagram site that I run that's associated with it. And somebody took that and ran with it and made an actual patch, which is on my desk,
oh, wow.
If you haven't seen it. And he said, hey, do you want me to send you one? I said, I would love that. How much is it? He says, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I said, no, please let me know how much it is. He says, don't worry about it. Just give me your address. So I give him my address. And I don't see it for like a month and a half, 2 months. He sent it back in March. Well, it just arrived yesterday.
Well, no.
That's because it came from South Africa.
Oh.
So he used his own money from South Africa to send it all the way through, obviously, that postal system to our postal system and then get it over here. So that's why it took so long, I'm guessing. In any case, that kind of generosity, that kind of just, let me do it for you, is always inspiring to me. And that's what I felt about Mr. Imahara, what he did for us and others did for us, just to come and say, yeah, I'll do it for you. Why not? I don't have to do that shit. They can say, like, no, talk to my agent, or no, I don't endorse shit for you. But they didn't. They just said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So I have Mike to thank for that. I have others to thank for that. But I mean, it's one of those things you kind of go, there's good in the world, And
cool. That's very cool.
So it's very cool. So we will be back on Saturday. We will have the live video show. We have a new web camera. I still got to get some things worked out. The lights are in that box over there too. So we'll be back with the live show on Saturday. We're golfing on Saturday too, so we're going to be together all friggin' day. And then we have a barbecue on Sunday that we're looking to go forward to going to touring. So it's going to be a busy, busy week for your brothers in podcast. Anything else?
No.
Your watch is snazzy. I like that. That's a 5, huh?
That's a 5. And
Yeah.
this is, of course, at the BX. Actually cheaper than anywhere. I found it on Amazon, which really surprised me. And
It's not an endorsement for the BX. We have to say that.
Yes, but they did not have just a normal black face.
Right.
They only had, since I don't want to endorse because anyway, is the company with the swoosh. They only had that, so everything on the phone,
Heinz?
all the faces.
Kraft?
No, has like the watch face that says 1958 on it. Our time here.
Yeah.
Has the orange swoosh on the face.
Microsoft?
No. In fact, the first
Oh, I keep getting it
first
wrong.
of these pairs of shoes I ever had go back to the old.
You could say Nike.
Can I say Nike?
You just can't be like, I bought it at our fantastic BX. Then I have to say something like, this is not an endorsement because that's what the law says.
The first Nikes I had were 1978. I got them at my parents got them at Mainz Castell, and they were the blue canvas ones with the yellow or the gold swoosh.
That's right before they started making the honeycomb on the insides and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
did the bee finally make it out? I think it did.
I think so.
I think it was lingering.
You let me know later.
We had the biggest wasp nest in New York. I'll have to talk about that on the next show. It was inside the wall of our kitchen. It was bizarre. All right, well then we're done. Thanks for listening. Don't forget iTunes, Spotify. We'll situate our sponsors again. We're also going to have the capability, I think, soon, if we're both together, to have guests on. So we will work that out soon. You'll be able to Skype in, and we'll invite you in if you want to make a comment. If you want to talk about whatever, we can Skype you in, and we'll try that out maybe not this Saturday's show, but on an upcoming Saturday show. We just have to come up with kind of a topic to get people involved in. Like, have you ever had anything growing on your private parts? It's always a good comment.
Wow.
That's a good, like conversational, but we'll figure something out.
That's going to be the next time I ask for a date. Question number 2. Get well soon, Matt Davis.
Matt Davis, get well soon. We're thinking about you. Happy retirement, Vic. We love you, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Darren, hi. Bye, everybody.
Connie, PJ Ray, thanks for watching, listening.